What's going on, guys? Savage here. Today's video, we're gonna be covering the Pulsar Xlite mouse. This is a mouse made for, I would say, smaller hands. However, I do have big hands and I actually really enjoy this mouse. I don't think there's any cons of this mouse. This mouse is absolutely built like a tank. It is the version 2 of it. The skates are probably the best I've ever gotten out of a mouse that's stock. Now, I always upgrade my skates on my mice because I just like smoothness when I'm gliding across the mouse pad. But this right here, no need to upgrade. They're absolutely amazing. I will also say the biggest selling point to this for me was the USB-C charger and the fact that it's wireless. I love wireless mice. I really can't stand having cables control my movement. Sometimes you just gotta flick it, and I know a lot of you guys are in situations where you're gaming and you gotta flick it and the mouse tugs and you can't flick it as far as you want. You end up dying. It happens to me a lot of times, so I love wireless mice. One thing that I hated about the Razer Orochi, and I'm gonna be comparing mice in case you guys are familiar with this mouse as well. Thing I hate about the Razer Orochi is there's no charger on it. It is completely batteried. Probably the worst thing about this mouse. The battery also adds weight. Now, when you compare these two mice together, the Razer Orochi is slightly smaller, not by much, but it is smaller. However, because of the battery in it, whether you use AA or the AAA, this mouse is actually heavier. The weight of this mouse is 55 grams. And if you guys saw my video on the glorious Model O, this thing is 69 grams. I really love the lightweightness of this. And this, of course, just beats it in all aspects. Now, I'm not going to talk much about the downfalls of this mouse because there really are none. The battery life on this is just superb. I have not charged this thing in like 6 days and I've been using it consistently and it's still kicking. The downfall to this for me is the fact that I have big hands, so I have to adapt my grip a little bit more than I'm used to with the Model O. With the Model O, I'm basically palming it, but with this mouse here, of course, I'm having to go like a little bit more of a claw grip, which isn't a big deal. You just got to watch where the pinky's at. The pinky's probably the hardest thing to control on this mouse. It's really easy for your pinky to kind of lose grip and lose where it's at and have it slide against the mouse pad, which creates a lot of friction. It makes it a little bit harder to use the mouse, but after a day's worth of practice, you guys will get this in no time. So again, that's the only con to this mouse. A lot of pros to it. Now let's talk about the click. If you guys listen real quickly, it's a relatively quieter click than most mice, especially the ones I've already shown you here today. It's very, very quiet. The scroll wheel has a little bit of a rubber texture on it, which makes it really comfortable with the finger. And also you can feel the clicks as you're scrolling. It's not loose, it's not too firm, it's a perfect balance. I do not have issues with the scroll wheel at all, like I've had with the glorious Model O. So that's a huge win for me. Now let's talk about the side buttons. Side buttons are in a very comfortable spot. I will say though, because I have to go claw grip, I find myself having to adjust my finger a little bit. Not a big deal. Again, most mice you can. One thing I'd like to see in V3, if they do come out with one, is a little bit sleeker buttons. It's a little bit better place for the thumb. Again, you kind of have to reach up, even if your claw, palm grip, whatever the case is. A lot of mice, if you push one of the corners, you'll notice it starts to bend, especially on the Logitech G502. You'll notice that one corner clicks and the other one doesn't. This right here is pretty uniform. No matter where you click it, even if you click it all the way back here, the whole thing moves together. And the purpose of me saying that is when you use mice where if you push on one corner as opposed to the other, you're putting a lot more force in one area than another, and it's causing some pieces to kind of get a little squishy over time. Logitech G502 was a great mouse. Of course, they've been upgrading it. This is one of the older variants. This is the original wireless hero, but over time it just got a little bit squishy because again, where my fingers were placed was just happening to hit a corner that it probably shouldn't have been, and it kind of damaged it a little bit. Not too drastic, but you know, you can feel it. This right here, again, it's a uniform on both sides of the spectrum. This mouse isn't really made for LED lovers. There's not really any kind of RGB features to it. It does change colors inside of here whenever the battery level is charged, medium or low. You will see that pop up. But again, it's a pretty basic mouse, but basic's what you need. A lot of people are RGB lovers. I get it. You know, so am I. I have my RGB mice as well. But as far as gaming and practicality, this has been my go-to mouse here lately. And I've been testing a lot of mice over and over. I've got the new 502X, which I'll be covering here soon. But by far, out of all the mice that I've done on this channel, all the mice that I've used in general, this has actually become my favorite. If it was a little bit bigger, I think I prefer it even more. But again, the mouse is so good, I'll just change my grip and roll with the punches. It's very rare that I find mice that I love so much I'll just change the way I play. Usually I want a mouse to fit my play style, to fit my hands, but this thing is just so smooth and so responsive, and it's got 1,000 pull rate. It's such a great mouse. I don't mind stepping outside my comfort zone in order to use this mouse. This thing is built like a workhorse, very, very stable, very, very sturdy. And also on top of that, it has extremely low click latency, which again makes this mouse extremely responsive. Overall, I've got to give this mouse a 10 out of 10. This has quickly become my favorite mouse. I've been falling in love with different mice. I've been testing them out, but this by far has pushed the rest out of the water. I feel like so many companies try to overcomplicate their product by adding a bunch of RGBs and a bunch of patterns when they really should be focused on the actual functionality. I love RGB, I love patterns, I love customizations like that, but a lot of these mice focus on that so much that they lack functionality. Unlike the Pulsar Xlite 2. Functionality when it comes to gaming should be your primary focus. Everything else should be secondary. And again, you know, if they end up making a V3 that has RGB out the wazoo, everyone will be happy. And honestly, I think that's the only thing that's missing. I still give it a 10 out of 10, despite wanting a little bit more RGB from it. But again, I prioritize functionality over looks any day of the week. When it comes to the program, it's pretty simple. Not a lot of bells and whistles, just Pulsar main, you click your device and there it is. You have performance macros. I actually just plugged this mouse in the middle of the review and I said I haven't charged this mouse in 6 days and look at the battery, it's almost full. It doesn't make sense, I don't understand why, but this thing's an absolute beast and I couldn't be happier. But you can customize these buttons to whatever you guys want. You have different profiles you can make for different games if you like. You could switch it on the fly. Of course, you have your DPI switcher. One of the things I did not like about the glorious Model O was that you had to set 4 different DPIs and it would change all the time on its own. If you plugged in your mouse, if you restarted your system, you had to click through them all and find the DPI for you. Or even sometimes mid gameplay, you'd accidentally hit the DPI button and it would switch. I love the fact that all you need is 1. You can have up to 4, but all you need is 1, and I love that. And of course, polling rate goes up to 1,000. You want it to be as high as it could possibly be. You have mouse sensitivity, you have scrolling speed, and then you have DPI effects and stuff like that. When it comes to the macros, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not really one to make macros. I'm pretty simple when it comes to gaming, but you guys can create many macros if it's for you, whether it's for FPSs, MMORPGs, whatever the case is. You have the custom ability in your hands. And again, this program is not overly complicated like some others, which makes it even better. Again, guys, I really love this mouse. I give it a 10 out of 10. If you guys are looking to purchase this mouse, I will leave a link in the description below, which will allow you guys to purchase this mouse on the fly. And again, guys, the skates are just a dream. No need to upgrade at all. The thing just glides across your mouse pad and it is a dream. All right, guys. Yeah, the looks changed. Things have changed. So this video I forgot to post. This is actually 4 months later. And a lot of you guys, if you follow me on Twitch, you know I did a 43-day subathon. It was absolutely wild. Literally lived and breathed on camera, but that's not what this video is about. I'm gonna give you guys a 4-month review within the original review because again, I forgot to post it. 4 months later, still using it, still mine. It's got fingerprints all over it. This is without a doubt my favorite mouse. There is another mouse I'm gonna be purchasing and trying out because it's, well, we'll get to that review sometime in the next few weeks. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel if you're interested in any kind of mouse or gaming product review. But again, dude, this thing is absolutely amazing. I can go 6, 7, 8 days without charging this. Of course, it depends on how much I'm gaming. If I'm putting in some 12, 18-hour days, which happens quite often, I'll probably get about 2 or 3 days out of it. But overall, on average, it gets about 5, 6, 7 days. And just to reiterate, man, I used to really love heavy mice. I still have this one for my streaming computer, the Logitech G502 Hero. But when it comes to gaming and being able to flick on enemies and just smooth tracking, you can't beat this. And the skates on this thing are absolutely amazing as well. Normally, if I get new mice like the glorious Model O, the Logitech, I will change the skates because they're absolutely garbo. But this thing right here, skates were great. You can still upgrade them to even better skates, but there really is no need to. You just barely push it and it goes across the mouse pad. It's amazing. So guys, make sure you check it out. Perfect stocking stuffer. I will leave a link in the description below for you guys to purchase the mouse if you're interested. And again, it's a great stocking stuffer. So if you have some friends out there, family members that need a mouse upgrade and you know they need one, make sure you guys use the link in the description to go ahead and purchase that. But guys, enjoy your time in gaming and I'll see you in the next one.